You know those courtroom dramas where the DA offers someone a plea deal and they don't know if they want to take it because they're innocent, but the danger of court is just so big, they don't know what to do? Well, this was me just a few hours ago. Do I have to go to like a probation officer?
Yeah, a probation officer.
Wait, what?
Would supervise this deferred.
No, like, so I have to go in. This all started because my tiny little black cat, Ichabod, was napping right here in these bushes, totally asleep, when a woman walking her dog, the dog saw Ichabod and attacked him while he was sleeping. And as she pulled the dog away, Ichabod and the dog got into it. And she tried to separate them and she got bit. And as a result of that, I got dragged into court. So the deferred judgment actually sucks. It's terrible.
Yeah.
For what happened.
Yeah.
Scott goes to probation.
For a year.
For a year.
For a year.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I ain't taking that.
Even though it involves dismissal of your case at the end.
At the end?
At the end of the
a year.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to probation for my cat.
My advice is not to take that.
Okay. You might have been following this case already. I put a video out earlier called Will I Go to Jail for My Cat? And I sort of thought, it's funny, when I put that title out, I thought that this was something of a joke. Like, of course I'm not gonna go to jail for my cat. And this just ridiculous incident has blown out of proportion. But now it looks like probation is actually on the table. If you want to get caught up, you can go watch that first video. But right now, I'm going to tell you what has happened since that initial court date and my most recent court date, which was just like a few hours ago before I'm recording this. To some degree, this entire situation is akin to what every single person who appears in an American criminal court, what they go through when they're offered a plea deal.
I'm Justie Nicol with Colorado Lawyer Team. You take this and you magnify it, right? Like it's a small, minor thing. It's a cat, right? It's a petty offense. It's silly. But what plays out here plays out on the grander scheme of things too. So I have clients who are charged with major offenses, sex offenses, right? That they're in the same position. Like, what am I doing? I'm facing like life in prison. I'm innocent, but I can't take that risk. And you get people who are innocent pleading guilty every day.
My arraignment is tomorrow. Last time I went to court, I filed for a deferral and I posted the video on YouTube. I spoke to just tons of people about what this case actually means. And I'm about 5 minutes ago, I spoke with the lawyer I hired. Do you enjoy my new shirt? Look at this.
Yes. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, it's funny. The video didn't do as well as I had expected off the bat because my audience is like really interested in like health grifters, and we have to get them on the cat court vibe. So my feeling is that this is YouTube gold. It may take time. So court is tomorrow at 8:30. Which is intense, and I've gone like through a whole like variety of emotions. Like sometimes I'm like, yeah, we're gonna get them. What if we went big? They're not really expecting like a robust defense, but what if I brought in like the full-on O.J. Simpson fleet of lawyers in suits?
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
Like a model of like my property and like props in general into the courtroom. You could spend as much money as you wanted to on a cat defense. What would it look like? And maybe I should try that. And other times I'm like, why am I doing this stupid thing, right? On the other hand, I don't know. I still feel like Ichabod's innocent, so.
I think he's got a self-defense claim. The footage from the Ring camera or your security system is really persuasive, and she really put herself in between the two animals. Ichabod didn't attack her. So who's to blame here? The wild, semi-wild domesticated animals, or the person who has logical thought and tries to use her leg as a shield for her dog?
She may have actually saved the cat. Cat was being beaten up by the dog. And if I were her, I would have done the exact same thing. But at the same time, that's sort of on her for taking actions, right?
Yeah.
The other thing that happened in the last few weeks is that we got access to the discovery materials. And there were a few surprises. I'm going to read you a section from the official report filed by the animal control officer. The woman states that the defendant reached out, that's me, to her husband yesterday asking for a letter to say that they are not wanting to press charges and to dismiss her case. Other than that, the defendant has not reached out, nor has he tried to pay her any money for her medical expenses. This really surprised me because right after this whole event happened, I talked to her husband directly and said, hey, let's go connect right after this and, sort out and, be neighborly about what had occurred. And then I actually sent them text saying, hey, can I cover your urgent care bills? He wrote, I appreciate you checking in. My wife is moving slow today. Dog is doing just fine. They're both on antibiotics for the next week, but should generally be fine. How's everything going on your end? That seemed very neighborly and very upfront. Glad to hear you're doing okay. The cat is quarantined for the next 10 days or so, but he'll pull through. Please let us know if we can help with the urgent care bill. That was on Tuesday, June 18th at 6:50 p.m. And he wrote back, I think we're all good, but thank you for offering. So I find this really upsetting because rather than dealing with this like adults, they have opted to use the court system to force me to pay the money that I had already offered to pay. And in doing so, they have exposed me to possibly going to probation for a year. And I feel like that is, well, it's just not neighborly. It's not about money for me. This is a principle. And that makes me, well, it sort of makes me want to fight a little harder. And the other things that happened at court were that the prosecutor who was supposed to be there, and I waited like 3 weeks for this court date, well, the prosecutor didn't even arrive, so that we couldn't actually negotiate the plea deal. All we could get were the details of what it were, and it involves me paying restitution and maybe going to probation, or there was another option, I could just pay the restitution, and there was possibly a path to get it dismissed. But I wasn't sure what really that path looked like because, well, they just didn't show up to court. So now we have a new court date set for the 24th of November. Remember, this all started in June. Now we're going all the way into November. And if it goes to trial, I don't think this will be done until January, maybe February. I just don't know how I feel at this point because I can pursue this case and at the same time offer an insight into how the court process actually works to the people here on YouTube. And we're going to get some testimony from neighbors to talk about what their feelings are about Ichabod, see if he's a danger to the community.
That's where it all happened. That was the scene of the crime. My name is Daniel. I live right across the street. And I know Ichabod because I see Ichabod every day. I see Ichabod right now. I see Ichabod in the morning. I used to see Ichabod in my garden beds. But I love Ichabod. I'm astonished that there's been so much trouble surrounding his front porch behavior.
I will say, I did have the prosecutor in court today send an email introduction to the one actually assigned to Ichabod's case.
Okay.
So that I can provide that mitigation electronically before the next court date. So there is still a chance for outright dismissal.
Great. I hope that the city and county of Denver realize that I will take this count case all the way if need be, or advise not to, by you. All right.
Hopefully by me.
Oh, sorry. By her with your advice and your comments down below.
Yeah.
Which we will read and probably not listen to in a very serious manner because she's the boss. Is that right?
I tell you when to show up, but technically when to take a case to trial is entirely your decision.
Oh, so it is sort of up to you guys.
Yeah.
All right.
But with my advice.
Now, some final thoughts about what my experience in court has been like. Overall, I think the legal system makes it very hard to find the truth of things. Things that should have been obvious from the moment the animal control officer saw the camera footage. At the same time, I am a little bit impressed by how fair the legal system, well, could be. I mean, they offer translators to the various defendants who showed up in court. They offer a court-appointed lawyer for people who can't afford one, and the right to a jury trial. Those are big things about justice that are enshrined in the Constitution, in the very fabric of American society. It's just that most people are not able to take those risks because, well, the risks of jail time are serious. So that's where we are right now. I would love you to weigh in down in the comments, and I will take what you say seriously. I don't know if I will definitely take your advice, but I will take your advice seriously for the free Ichabod movement. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and also go check out my Substack newsletter. And, well, you know what? There are shirts available down there if you want to get something with Ichabod's cute little face on it and to free Ichabod. Well, come and join the movement. Until next time, this was Scott Carney Goes to Court. Thank you so much to all of my supporters on Patreon and on Substack who make this work possible. If you want early access and to get your name on the honor roll, please check out those links down below. And, you know, it just means the world to me that you're here. From PokeyBear LLC in Denver, Colorado, this was Scott Carney Investigates.
Yeah.